Video is going to look at problem number 2 from the Purdue Computer Science Programming Competition from 2014. It's the NoRays problem, which is trying to take a collection of elements in an array and essentially remove all the duplicates so that you only have values that are unique. So this looks great. ABBA becomes AB, BACDEF becomes just BACDEF because there are no duplicates. BABBAG becomes bag, etc. The one interesting thing that made this problem a little bit tricky at first, otherwise there's a really fast way to do this, is that I noticed that the elements had to come back in the order that they were in the array to start, in that I couldn't sort them in alphabetical order, which was something I was thinking about doing, but I couldn't do that. So instead, here's how I attack this problem. So first, we need to create our scanner object once again, which I love doing over and over again. And now that we have our scanner and it's imported, the very first thing I'm going to be reading in is a number. Now, I'm going to do something different than I did in the first video, because I'm going to read in numbers and then I'm going to read in strings. And the scatter class gets kind of funky when you start to do that. So to avoid any chance of things going bad, instead of reading in a number, although I'll make a number variable, I'm going to actually read in a line, and then I'm going to convert that line to be a number. I found this to be a safer route than trying to mess around with the next int command. So this will take in a number as a string and then convert it to an integer that we can manipulate. So the next thing I need to do is start a loop that's going to run the number of test cases that I am supposed to. And I'm going to have to read in a bunch of lines. So I will read in the next line. And this next line is going to be split amongst a bunch of different letters separated by spaces. So there is a very handy way to actually get each of those things, and that is to use the split command. And you can get a array version of this line by using the split command, separating everything by spaces. So what this command does is, since line will first have A, B, B, A, and each of those are separated by spaces, it'll give you an array that has these values in it, A, B, B, and A, separately. It'll be length 4, because in our first test there are 4 elements, and then we can do whatever we want with them. So that's a good start. The next thing I need is I kind of need a way to keep track of the ones that I have and the ones that I, well, let me see if I word this right. So I need to keep track of all the things that I'm going to put into my final answer. And I want to make sure there aren't any duplicates. So because this thing that I need to store all this stuff could get bigger or smaller, an array list is a really nice solution to this. So array list, I'm going to call this result, is a new array list. And what an array list allows you to do is to contain a whole bunch of values that grows as you add things to it. And you can also ask it if there's something already in it, which is the main feature that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to make a loop that's going to go through all the parts that are on the line. And then I have to use a different index variable because at the top I'm already using I. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the jth part. So this is like in our either A, B, B, or A, one of those letters. And then I want to know, is it already in my array list? So is it true that result contains X? Now, that's actually the opposite of what I want. I want to know if it doesn't contain it. Because if it doesn't contain it, then I can do result.add X. And that'll put the next letter at the end of the array list. If it's already there, so if this case is false, then it just won't do anything. So at this point, we're pretty close to being done. The only other thing we need to do now is I'm going to have to loop through and print out each of the letters that are in the array list. So I can do that pretty much in short order. So print I, oh, gotta use j again. J equal to 0, j less than result.size. You'll notice that it's a different command for array less than from arrays. And what I want to do is print out each of the strings that are in the list. So the jth one. And if I do that, and I have to print it out on the same line, I have to figure out how to get the spacing right. And the way I'm going to do that is, if it's not the first one, I'm going to print out a space before I print out the letter. So the very first letter won't print out a space, but every letter after that it will. And then after I'm done printing these out, I'm going to print a new line so that the next test will go to the next line. So I'm going to test this with some of the cases, and we'll see what happens. So if I run this, the first case is A, B, B, A, and it says AB. That's good. The next case is this guy. Good. Should not have changed it. This one, if I enter that in, should give me bag, I believe. Yep, it does. And then the last case should give me ABG. Yep, looks like it's working pretty well. So here's the answer to problem number 2, the NoRays problem. Essentially the idea was you needed to process each of the letters on the line, keep track of if you've already seen them before or not, and if not, add it to a collection, and then at the very end just print them all out in the right format. Okay, that's all.